Hey everyone, this is Antoine here from SheetsFinance, and welcome to our latest video on the new SF News function. So this most recent edition allows you to pull in a myriad of financial news articles straight into your Google Sheets. And we'll be starting off straight away by using the function generator to help us get the SF News function sorted, and we'll dive a bit deeper into all the different metrics and parameters. So let's click on extensions once we have our Google Sheets open, SheetsFinance, and the function generator. So once that's opened up, we can see that we currently have 10 SheetsFinance functions, and right at the bottom we have the latest addition, which is the news function. So we'll click on that and open up the different options. So with that loaded, we start straight at the top, which is the first parameter that goes into this function. And naturally, that is symbol or ticker. And if you're unsure about any kind of symbol or ticker in terms of equities, you can use the symbol search, which is on the top right here. Select it and look for any kind of specific name, exchange to pinpoint the exact code or ticker that is used across the entire SheetsFinance database. So we'll get started by typing Apple. So you can naturally write up the symbols right into this input box, or even better, let me delete this and type in a column of, let's say, Apple. Let's go for Meta and let's go for NVIDIA. One of the good things about the SF News function is we can batch multiple tickers at the same time. That means getting multiple articles for different tickers or symbols all at the same time from a single function. So with that done in column B, we can actually now reference that data, so B3 to B5. So all we're doing here is referencing these three symbols, and that should be sorted. So the next parameter we'll look into is called type. So let me click and open this up. So we have stocks, which is the default version in the SF News function. And just a side note that currently, as of November 2024, this only applies to US-based equities. And we also have cryptocurrencies and grouped together Forex and commodities. Naturally, here we'll just start off with Apple, Meta, and NVIDIA, which are US-based stocks. So we'll be selecting this option. And let's move on to the next parameter, which is limit. So this is the number of articles you seek or want to fetch from the SF News function. Now, the default version is 10, or the default value, sorry, is 10, but you are able to customize this to any kind of number, of course, of articles. So let's say you have 3 tickers, so we'll try and aim for maybe 12 in total. Just a side note that even though we are asking for 12 news articles or news pieces, and we have 3 tickers, this doesn't necessarily mean that it will be 4 articles for each symbol or for each company that we're looking into. It just means that we'll fetch the 12 most recent published articles or news pieces based on the 3 symbols that we have here. So this could mean we actually have 10 articles for Apple, but only 1 for Meta and only 1 for NVIDIA. Right. So we've set the limit to 12. Now let's look at metrics. So metrics is what is outputted. Of course, we have all, which is the default setting, which allows to get the symbol, which, as you can see, is Apple, Meta, and NVIDIA, the date in which the article was published, the site who's published the article, the actual title, a short summary, which we just call text, and the actual link or the source to that article, which appears as a link or URL. Just to get started, we'll click on all, and then we have a little look into the actual sub-metrics inside of that. So I've also expanded the extra options, which will allow you actually to filter down the options or for example, in this case, from which site you want the articles to be sourced from. So before we actually look into filtering down our sources, let's click on this cell C3 and actually generate the current function that we've just been building. So let's wait for it to load, and perfect. Let me just highlight these inputs. These are the 3 input tickers that we had, and I'll just highlight them in red to separate them. So from top to bottom, this is the 12 most recent stock newsfeed for the 3 tickers or symbols that we've requested. And from left to right, we can see these are all the metrics that we mentioned. So we have the symbol for the specific article, published date, the actual site or the company who published the article. So we have a lot of full.com, barons.com, Tech Explorer, Finbold, and a couple others. We also have naturally the title, a very short text analysis. Let me make this wider so it's much more readable. There we go. And naturally the source for you to have a deeper look into the article itself and find the source. So let's now look at the extra options, which will allow you to filter down the different options. So for example, under the site or sites heading, let's say you wanted news articles only from full.com. So just a note, we need to specify the domain of the publisher. So in this case, full.com. And let's say you want to add barons as well. So let's put the and symbol, barons.com. You can also filter down the news articles using a start and end date. And we have 2 extra options whether or not you want the headers. So if you were to enable this, it would make the entire row of symbol, published dates, etc. disappear, and allows you to reverse the order in which it is outputted. Right. So let's regenerate with this filtering in terms of 2 sources. I'll go back on our previous cell and I'll click on generate. As you can see, we now have the articles that we've just shown prior, except now they've been condensed and filtered down to the 2 sites that we mentioned, full.com and barons.com. So with that said and done, if you have any questions about the SF News function, let us know down in the comments or reach out either through our Discord server or through our contact form. And you can also check our most recent blog piece on the SF News function, which will be attached down in the description. With that said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.